In 2026, Pisces can look forward to a year filled with promising developments and positive momentum across several aspects of life. Professionally, this year brings opportunities for growth and recognition. While the early months may feel slow or uncertain, mid-year onward is expected to bring noticeable progress, whether through new responsibilities, career advancement, or successful completion of ongoing projects. Those seeking employment may find roles that align closely with their skills and aspirations, while those already employed may gain appreciation or promotion for their consistent efforts. Financially, 2026 offers stability and the potential for gains. Pisces individuals who maintain discipline in managing their finances will see steady growth in savings, and funds pending from previous periods are likely to materialize. Creative work, freelancing, or side ventures may provide additional sources of income, making this year one of improved financial security. Thoughtful planning and careful investment will enhance these gains and set a strong foundation for the years to follow. On the personal and emotional front, Pisces can anticipate deeper and more meaningful relationships. Couples are likely to strengthen their bonds through honest communication and mutual support, while singles may encounter opportunities for romance or serious partnerships, especially in the latter half of the year. Emotional clarity and authenticity in interactions will help nurture trust and connection, creating a harmonious and supportive environment in both personal and social relationships. 2026 also encourages personal growth and learning. Whether through formal education, professional skill building, or self-improvement efforts, this year favors disciplined study and active engagement in opportunities that expand knowledge and competence. Participating in group discussions, workshops, or collaborative learning environments will enhance understanding, boost confidence, and open doors for future achievements. Finally, health and well-being show signs of improvement throughout the year. By focusing on balanced routines that include adequate rest, gentle physical activity, and mindful practices, Pisces individuals can maintain steady energy levels and enhance overall vitality. Mid-year is particularly favorable for adopting consistent health habits, which will contribute to long-term well-being and resilience. Overall, 2026 presents Pisces with a year of positive developments and meaningful progress. With disciplined effort, thoughtful choices, and a focus on growth and connection, this year offers the potential for professional advancement, financial stability, deeper relationships, personal development, and improved health, making it a period of fulfillment and encouragement. The year 2026 is not something we are moving toward. It is something we are creating. It is being shaped right now by the thoughts we choose to entertain, the words we repeat, and the standards we accept as normal. Peace has never been the result of chance or time. It is always the result of conscious thinking and deliberate action. Peace does not begin in the streets, in agreements, or in institutions. It begins in the mind. Every lasting change in the world is first a private shift in awareness. When individuals change the way they think, they change the way they act, and when action changes, outcomes follow with certainty. The future does not carry its own power. All power exists in the present moment. What we consistently think, expect, and practice today becomes the condition we experience tomorrow. If we want peace in 2026, it must first become our discipline now. This moment matters. It is not ordinary. It is the workshop where the future is built. History will not remember the calendar year that passed, but it will always remember the thinking that shaped what came next. Peace is not a destination, it is a decision. Peace is often spoken of as though it were a distant place we hope to arrive at someday, a future condition dependent on time, circumstance, or the actions of others. But peace has never been something humanity stumbled upon by accident, nor has it ever been delivered by the turning of a calendar. Peace begins the moment a decision is made. It begins when an individual chooses what they will think about, what they will tolerate, and how they will respond to the world around them. Long before peace appears in nations or communities, it is established privately in the mind. Every external condition has an internal cause. Conflict, confusion, and unrest do not originate in events. They originate in interpretations of events. Two people can face the same situation and produce entirely different outcomes, not because the situation changed, but because their decisions did. One reacts from fear and creates resistance. The other responds from clarity and creates understanding. The difference is never circumstance, it is decision. Peace, therefore, is not something we wait for, it is something we practice. The mind operates under laws as dependable as gravity. Whatever a person allows to dominate their thinking gradually becomes their emotional climate, and that emotional climate directs behavior. When anger is repeatedly justified, it hardens into identity. When fear is rehearsed, it becomes instinct. But when calm reasoning, patience, and self-control are chosen consistently, peace becomes a natural expression rather than an effort. This is not philosophy, it is cause and effect. Thought leads to action, and action leads to result. Many people delay peace because they believe it requires perfect conditions. They wait for others to change, for systems to improve, or for circumstances to become favorable. But waiting has never produced peace. Waiting only reinforces powerlessness. The truth is that peace has always been available in imperfect conditions because it does not depend on the outside world. It depends on the standards a person sets for their inner world. When an individual decides that chaos will no longer govern their reactions, they begin to alter everything they touch. Decision is the dividing line between wishing and becoming. A wish is passive and dependent on chance. A decision is active and supported by discipline. When a person decides to live from peace, they do not merely hope for harmony, they organize their behavior around it. They choose their words carefully, they pause before reacting, they replace impulsive judgment with deliberate understanding. These choices may seem small, but repeated daily, they become character, and character always determines destiny. History confirms this truth again and again. Lasting change has never come from mass agreement alone, but from individuals who first govern themselves. Order in the world has always followed order in the mind. When enough people decide to think clearly, speak responsibly, and act with restraint, peace stops being an idea and starts becoming a structure. Systems then reflect the consciousness that created them. The decision for peace also requires personal responsibility. It asks individuals to stop outsourcing their inner state to external events. It demands the recognition that while we may not control everything that happens to us, we always control how we interpret it. This realization is empowering. It shifts a person from victimhood to leadership. A peaceful person does not deny reality. They master their response to it. As we look toward 2026, the question is not whether peace is possible. The question is whether enough individuals will decide to embody it now. The future is never built in grand moments. It is built in ordinary days through consistent decisions. Peace will not announce its arrival. It will emerge quietly as a byproduct of disciplined thinking, ethical action, and personal accountability. Peace is not a destination marked on a map of time. It is a decision made moment by moment, and every decision carries consequences. When peace becomes the chosen standard, internally first, it inevitably reshapes the world outside. The mind accepts what it is repeatedly fed. The human mind is not random in its operation. It functions according to definite laws, responding predictably to whatever it is exposed to most often. Whether those inputs are ideas, images, conversations, or emotions, the mind absorbs them, organizes them, and eventually expresses them through behavior. This is why lasting peace cannot exist in an environment where fear, hostility, and division are continually rehearsed. The mind simply acts upon what it has been taught to accept as normal. Every day, people feed their minds thousands of impressions, often without awareness. News headlines, social narratives, casual conversations, and internal self-talk all contribute to a steady stream of instruction. Over time, the mind does not question these inputs. It adopts them. When conflict is repeatedly emphasized, the mind begins to expect conflict. When suspicion is reinforced, trust erodes. The result is not a conscious choice to create unrest, but an unconscious acceptance of it. Repetition is the mind's primary teacher. A thought held once has little power, but a thought revisited daily becomes a belief. A belief acted upon repeatedly becomes a habit, and a habit sustained over time shapes personality. This process explains why societies drift toward certain patterns, and why individuals often find themselves repeating behaviors they never consciously chose. The mind accepts what it is repeatedly fed and works tirelessly to make it real. Peace, therefore, must be introduced deliberately and consistently. It cannot compete with chaos unless it is practiced with the same intensity. Calm thinking must be rehearsed. Constructive language must be chosen intentionally. Emotional discipline must be exercised even when provocation is present. These practices are not passive. They require awareness and commitment. Yet they are the only way to retrain the mind away from conflict and toward harmony. Many people underestimate the power of internal dialogue. The conversations a person holds with themselves shape their perception of reality. When those conversations are filled with criticism, resentment, or fear, the mind responds by reinforcing those emotional states. But when inner dialogue is guided by clarity, patience, and purpose, the mind aligns behavior accordingly. Peaceful speech within leads to peaceful action without. This principle applies collectively as well. A culture that continually tells itself that conflict is inevitable will unconsciously build systems that confirm that belief. Expectations shape outcomes. When people expect disorder, they prepare for it. When they expect cooperation, they create conditions that support it. The mind, both individually and collectively, seeks consistency between belief and experience. The challenge of our time is not a lack of information, but a lack of discernment. Minds are constantly fed without intention. Without conscious selection, destructive patterns are adopted by default. Peace requires selective input. It requires individuals to choose what they allow to influence their thinking and to recognize that attention is a form of agreement. Feeding the mind with peace does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing interpretations that lead to resolution rather than escalation. It means responding with understanding instead of impulse. This choice, repeated consistently, trains the mind to default toward calm strength rather than reactive force. As we approach 2026, the question becomes simple and personal. What are we feeding our minds today? The future will reflect those inputs with precision. Peace will not emerge from minds conditioned by fear. It will arise from minds trained in clarity, discipline, and purposeful thought. What we repeatedly feed the mind now will determine the world we experience next. We become what we habitually expect. Expectation is one of the most powerful forces shaping human behavior, yet it often operates unnoticed. People do not merely respond to life as it unfolds, they respond to what they anticipate will happen next. Expectations quietly influence decisions, attitudes, and reactions long before events occur. Over time, individuals and societies tend to experience outcomes that mirror what they have consistently expected, not because the world conspires in their favor or against them, but because expectation directs behavior with remarkable precision. From early experience, people learn what to expect from themselves and from others. These expectations become mental blueprints. When a person expects difficulty, they approach situations defensively. When they expect hostility, they interpret neutral actions as threats. When they expect cooperation, they communicate differently, listen more carefully, and act with openness. The same world exists in all cases, but the experience of it changes based on expectation. Expectation functions as a self-fulfilling mechanism. The mind prepares the body and emotions for what it anticipates. If failure is expected, effort diminishes, attention narrows, and resilience weakens. If success is expected, energy increases, creativity expands, and persistence becomes natural. In the same way, peace cannot flourish where conflict is expected as the norm. Anticipation sets the stage upon which behavior performs. This is why hope alone is insufficient. Hope suggests uncertainty. Expectation implies decision. When peace is merely hoped for, actions remain tentative. When peace is expected, behavior aligns with that expectation. People speak differently. They assume understanding is possible. They look for solutions rather than enemies. These subtle shifts compound into significant change. Many individuals unknowingly carry inherited expectations, beliefs passed down through culture, history, or repeated experience. These expectations shape identity. If a person grows accustomed to expecting disappointment, they may reject opportunities for harmony without realizing it. Familiar struggle can feel safer than unfamiliar peace. To expect differently requires courage, awareness, and a willingness to challenge old assumptions. Expectation also governs collective behavior. Communities that expect instability tend to build rigid defenses. Those that expect cooperation invest in dialogue and shared responsibility. Neither approach is accidental. Each reflects an underlying belief about what is likely and what is possible. Over time, expectations become reality not through chance, but through consistent alignment of thought and action. To change expectation, repetition is required. One positive thought cannot override years of conditioning. New expectations must be reinforced through conscious choice and daily practice. This includes choosing language that assumes progress, interpreting events with fairness rather than suspicion, and acting in ways that confirm the belief that peace is achievable. The mind adjusts gradually, but once it does, behavior follows effortlessly. Expectation also influences leadership. Leaders who expect people to act responsibly tend to inspire responsibility. Those who expect failure often create systems that limit trust and creativity. In every sphere, expectation communicates belief. People rise or fall to meet the standards they sense are held for them. As we look toward 2026, it becomes clear that the future will resemble what we collectively expect it to be. If disorder is anticipated, preparations will reinforce it. If harmony is expected, efforts will support it. The question is not what we wish for, but what we are training ourselves to expect. We become what we habitually expect because expectation shapes behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. Peace will emerge not when circumstances change, but when expectation changes. The discipline of expecting better, of expecting understanding, cooperation, and restraint, is the quiet force that builds a peaceful future long before it becomes visible. Inner order always precedes outer peace. Throughout history, humanity has searched for peace in structures, agreements, and systems, often overlooking the one place where peace must first be established. Outer peace has never existed independently of inner order. The condition of the world is a reflection of the condition of the minds that shape it. Confusion within individuals inevitably expresses itself as disorder in communities, while clarity within individuals gives rise to stability beyond them. Inner order begins with self-governance. A person who cannot manage their own thoughts, emotions, and impulses will struggle to create harmony with others. When reactions are uncontrolled, misunderstandings multiply. When judgment is immediate and unchecked, conflict escalates. Inner order does not eliminate emotion, it directs it. It transforms raw feeling into thoughtful response, allowing reason to guide action rather than impulse. The absence of inner order produces noise, mental, emotional, and social. This noise clouds perception and distorts communication. People hear what they expect rather than what is said. They react to imagined threats rather than actual circumstances. In such an environment, even well-intended actions can be misinterpreted. Outer peace cannot survive long where inner confusion dominates. Order within the mind creates clarity, and clarity produces wise choice. A clear mind observes before reacting. It separates fact from interpretation. It recognizes that disagreement does not require hostility and that difference does not demand division. These distinctions are not instinctive. They are learned through discipline and self-awareness. Yet once established, they become the foundation of peaceful interaction. Inner order also requires alignment between values and behavior. When a person's actions contradict their principles, internal conflict arises. This inner conflict often expresses itself outwardly through frustration, defensiveness, or aggression. Peaceful societies are not built by perfect people, but by people who strive for consistency between what they believe and how they act. Integrity creates inner stability, and stability fosters trust. The same principle applies at scale. Institutions reflect the inner order of the individuals who lead and maintain them. Laws, systems, and policies are expressions of collective thinking. When that thinking is fragmented or driven by fear, structures become rigid and punitive. When thinking is orderly and purposeful, structures become supportive and adaptive. The outer world always mirrors the inner state that produced it. Many seek peace by attempting to control external behavior without addressing internal causes. This approach treats symptoms rather than sources. True peace does not require constant enforcement. It emerges naturally when individuals are internally aligned. Self-regulated people do not need excessive regulation from outside. They act responsibly because clarity has become their habit. Inner order is cultivated through conscious practice. It involves examining beliefs, managing emotional responses, and choosing long-term wisdom over short-term reaction. It means developing the ability to pause, reflect, and respond with intention. These practices are not abstract ideals. They are practical disciplines that determine how individuals function under pressure. As we consider the vision of peace in 2026, it becomes evident that no external plan can succeed without internal preparation. The world cannot be more peaceful than the people who inhabit it. Efforts toward peace that ignore inner order are temporary at best. Those grounded in inner clarity endure. Outer peace is the visible result of invisible work. It is built first in the mind, then expressed through behavior, and finally reflected in the world. Inner order always comes first, because only an ordered mind can create a peaceful world. Now is the only time power exists. Human beings often place their greatest hopes in the future, believing that time itself will somehow resolve conflict, heal division, and produce peace. Yet time has never possessed creative power of its own. Years do not think, decide, or act. People do. All power, all influence, and all change exist only in the present moment. The future is shaped exclusively by what is done now, not by what is planned for later. The tendency to postpone responsibility is one of the greatest obstacles to peace. When individuals believe that improvement will come with better circumstances, new leadership, or a more favorable season, they surrender their power in the present. This delay creates inertia. Nothing meaningful changes because the moment that holds the ability to act is continually avoided. Peace, like progress, requires immediate engagement. The present moment is where thought becomes action. It is where intention either remains an idea or transforms into behavior. Each decision made now sets a direction. Each choice either reinforces old patterns or establishes new ones. There is no future action that is not first a present action practiced repeatedly. To wait for peace in a later year is to misunderstand how outcomes are formed. Power in the present also means accountability. Individuals cannot change what has already happened, and they cannot directly control what others will do tomorrow. But they always control their current response. This recognition restores agency. When a person understands that their present attitude, words, and actions matter, they reclaim their role as a contributor rather than a spectator. Many conflicts persist not because solutions are unknown, but because present action is avoided. Difficult conversations are postponed. Necessary compromises are delayed. Personal responsibility is deferred. Each delay strengthens the very problems people hope will disappear. Action taken now, even imperfect action, begins momentum. Momentum is the engine of change. The present moment is also where habits are formed. Habits are not created in the future. They are built through repeated present choices. A peaceful future depends on peaceful habits developed now. This includes choosing restraint over reaction, understanding over assumption, and cooperation over competition. These choices may seem small in isolation, but collectively they determine the direction of society. Power in the present requires focus. Distraction weakens influence by scattering attention. When individuals are constantly pulled between regrets of the past and anxieties about the future, they neglect the only moment where effectiveness exists. Clarity returns when attention is brought back to now, where action is possible and results begin. The idea of waiting for the right time often masks fear of responsibility. The truth is that there is never a perfect moment, only a present one. Those who act now do not do so because conditions are ideal, but because they understand that conditions improve through action. Peace is created by those willing to live it before it becomes popular or convenient. As the vision of peace in 2026 is considered, the essential question is not what will be done later, but what is being done now. Every peaceful action taken today becomes part of tomorrow's foundation. Every moment of restraint, understanding, and clarity adds weight to the future. Now is the only time power exists because now is the only time life is lived. Peace will not arrive on schedule. It will emerge as the natural result of present decisions made consistently and with purpose. The future will simply reveal what the present has already built.